Hey everybody, Matt Wallace doing AI every day. Today we're going to talk about where we are in the life cycle of AI and ML. That is this like 1995 where you had 28 kilobit modems and people were unplugging their physical phone lines and connecting them to the modem in the computer in order to connect to the internet, where the throughput that would max out at a tiny, tiny fraction of what a bad 2G connection on a phone is? To answer this question, I'm going to take a couple pieces of evidence because the world has gotten really excited about the capabilities behind things like ChatGPT, and now it's got the GPT-4 model. Google's released Bard. There's a whole bunch of other people who are releasing both interesting, truly large LLMs, large language models, and there's also a bunch of efforts to develop things that are really specialized. For example, industry-specific or company-specific chatbots. So where are we in this cycle? And to help answer that question, I'm going to show you this tweet first. So the gentleman who tweeted this is the former head of Tesla's self-driving machine learning team. So the group of people at Tesla who were helping teach Teslas with full self-drive and autopilot to go out and drive on city streets and freeways. He's now at OpenAI, and he made this observation that he took a model, and this is the Nano GPT model he's been working on, which is a little bit of a research project of a very, very tiny version of a GPT LLM that can run and train locally. And he was working on training it, and he found that if he just increased the vocabulary size a tiny fraction of a percent, so it was a multiple of 64, was a power of 2, that it sped up the whole training process 25%. Now, to put this in context, you have to keep in mind that training a large language model that's about 175 billion parameters like GPT-3 would be estimated to cost somewhere between $2 and $5 million worth of compute. So this tiny observation, which would probably be almost nothing more than a change in a config file, that you literally could save somewhere between $500,000 and $1.3 million just implementing this. And in fact, this other team at Mosaic ML that was working on training the GPT 1.3b set, which is now 1.3 billion parameters, so still a tiny fraction of GPT-3 or an open source model like Bloom, but much more substantial, did in fact observe this exact same effect in their training as soon as they adopted it. It's pretty mind-blowing that we are at the stage where people are literally spending millions and millions of dollars to train AI models, and that yet you can find this very, very simple optimization that has such a huge impact. I think if we see one, we're going to see many. So I think what we're going to see going forward is still tons and tons of software, operational process, hardware optimizations that will make this easier, better, faster, cheaper. So another amazing thing happened just last Friday. Here's an announcement from Ali, who is the CEO of Databricks and its co-founder, one of the co-creators of Spark. And of course, Databricks is a hugely popular commercial product with a whole bunch of open source software that they support in the community, like Delta Lake, for example. And he tweeted to announce that they had open sourced DALL-E, which is a ChatGPT-like model. So this one, they took a 6 billion parameter model, which is open sourced and actually licensed under the Apache license. They used a data set to train it on about 50,000 examples of Q&A, right? This is the prompt that the user asks for. This is the type of answer you should give in a process called fine-tuning. And they are able to do that for less than $50 of compute. They were able to take this open source model and get something that was very similar to ChatGPT in terms of the output. Now, what's interesting to me is that one of the things that made ChatGPT somewhat remarkable was that you ended up getting output that felt remarkably human-like. It felt so articulate. So it's really amazing to see that you can get a very ChatGPT-like result from something that anybody can go train for $50 of less on cloud hardware. So I definitely would encourage you to go check out the DALL-E project. You can read the Databricks announcement. But I think that goes to show that we're really in the early innings of this AI ML game. There are so many advancements to still come. It's very exciting. There's going to be a lot more to talk about, and that's why you should follow me or subscribe, and I will continue to bring you some interesting tidbits day by day. Thanks, and see you tomorrow.